Today, I'm going to show you something that I think every electronic musician needs to have. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and be sure to check out my upcoming free live stream concert, Freebeat Live, Home Edition Volume 2. It's on Saturday, February 13th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the channel. Hope to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get started. So based on that intro and the title of the video and the fact that there's a PO32 tonic sitting right here, you guys probably think that I'm going to say that every electronic musician needs to have a PO32 tonic. But nope, that's not the case. This is Freebeat. Come on, I'd never clickbait you into watching a video and then just try to sell you a product. That's not what I do here. The reason I've got the tonic sitting right here is because it's a drum machine, and today I need a drum machine because we're talking about drums. I'm not going to make you guys wait anymore. The thing that I think every electronic musician needs is a default drum pattern. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean a drum pattern that is comfortable to that musician. Something that you can always rely on, you can always dial it up really quickly, something that you know the ins and outs of. Just a go-to drum groove that you are very, very well versed in. Something that you know how to amp up, something that you know how to bring down, something that you know how to embellish, you know how to +1 it, you know how to -10 it. You know where it can go, you know where it can't go, and it still has some room for you to learn and grow. And this could be anything. I've got mine, I know what it is. I've actually already got it loaded up here on the PO32 tonic. But something to remember before I hit the play button is that this is my go-to drum groove. Yours can be completely different. Of course, it's going to depend on what genres you're into, what style of drumming you like, what style of electronic drum sounds you like. I'm an acoustic drummer, so mine is based a little more around the body, around four limbs, making sound together, rather than, the electronicness, is that a word, of it? But yours can be whatever you'd like. It has to be something that you're comfortable with, and no matter what, you can always use it to get inspired. So here's my default drum pattern. That's it. Nice and simple. As you can see, there's not a whole lot going on there. It's hi-hats, just eighth notes across the board, snare drum on 2 and 4, 2 16th notes on the kick drum right at the beginning, and then a few offbeat kicks leading up to that second snare. That's it. However, I am very, very comfortable with this drum pattern, to the point where I can turn it into just about anything else that I need to. So let's bring down the tempo a bit here. So at this tempo, I know what it wants is open slushy hi-hat. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Let's close that back up. I also know that this pattern will work slowly with 16ths on my hi-hat. Close it up again there. Being comfortable at all ranges of tempos is very important when you're working with different genres. Let's speed it up now. Too much. Let's go 150. So it works pretty well like that on its own. However, a second snare drum on the E of 2 will also work. Then, of course, we can copy this into another slot and put 4 16ths at the end of it, so it sounds like this. Just like that. Gonna bring that tempo back down to around 120 or so. It works pretty well when swung if we add a couple extra kick drums in there and see what that sounds like. Works pretty well swung by itself, but I think it really kicks when you put a kick on the E of 4. Another one on the and of 4 works pretty well too. So you see what I mean? I can always dial up this drum pattern and know exactly what it's going to sound like at different tempos and be able to completely adapt it to where it needs to go at those tempos as well. Here we are back to the basic pattern. I also know how the fills work with it, so I'm going to copy that into a blank pattern. And I know that with a couple well-placed snare drum hits, we can have a pretty good fill. Especially if we line those snare drum hits up with the bass drum. So doom doom gak 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 gak. And we can make this one here a double trigger. And since I like to pretend I'm a real drummer, let's go ahead and get rid of the hi-hat at the end of this fill. Now let's pair that up with the original pattern. There we go. Just like that. Cool. So the more you work with drum machines, you're going to find that your brain gravitates towards certain sounds and certain arrangements of sounds. And that's really where the basis for your pattern is going to come from. Now, when you're done watching this video, go ahead and do me a favor. Don't click on anything else yet, unless it's my subscribe button and you haven't yet, then please click on that. But anyway, don't watch anything else. Don't go to any gear or anything like that. Close your eyes. Think of your setup when you're making music, and just think of the first drum pattern that pops in your head. That's a great starting point for discovering your pattern. And the more you do this, the easier it's going to be, and the more confident you're going to be in knowing that you've found the pattern when you're seeing if you like it or not. So let's go ahead and copy our default pattern here into a new blank slot, and let's try to come up with something new. So what if we get rid of the kick drum on beat 1? What if we take our hi-hat and remove it from beat 1 and the and of beat 1 and put it on the E of 1 along with that kick drum and open it? Now we're going to have this kind of stuttery feel because step 1 is going to be completely blank. Here we go. And then what if we put a snare drum square on beat 3, get rid of the snare drum on beat 4, and replace that with a kick? Pretty cool. Let's get our hi-hat here. Let's close it up again. Let's take this hi-hat off of beat 4, put one on the E of beat 4, leave the one on the and then put one on the of beat 4 and open it up again. Now let's listen. It already sounds very different from the original pattern. Let's go ahead and put a little swing on that and say we're bringing the tempo down to, how about right around 100. Yeah. Not gonna lie, that's something I have never come up with before on the PO32 Tonic. And you guys see how very little action it took to get there from that default pattern. And that's just because almost every time I pull up my Tonic or my Model Cycles or the OPZ or any of my other miniature drum kits on the POs, or when I sit down at my actual drum kit, electric or acoustic, this is always something that I come back to. So I've been calling it a default pattern, your go-to pattern, but basically what it is having intimate familiarity with one drum groove that really resonates with you. That's all it is. And I think that every electronic musician needs to have this because it is such an invaluable tool. When you're not feeling motivated, this is a great way to get started. Just pull up your default pattern and start changing things. You'll be very surprised at where it goes rather quickly. If you're working on a more full-fledged track, throw down your default groove, see how it lines up with the other things you've been working on, remove a step or two from the groove if it just doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things. You've instantly got a drum pattern that you can just throw down and get back to work on the meat of the track before you start focusing on the drums. There are endless uses for having this kind of relationship with a pattern, and I really hope that you guys take this video seriously. I know it's kind of a silly thing to think about, but this has saved my backside more times than I can count in the music world, both on a professional and amateur level. Just have a default pattern. That's simple. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If so, go ahead and leave a like on it. If not, you can leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.